Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Talking That Talk Official Podcast, where we have comfortable and uncomfortable conversations. I am your host, Juice, aka No Ordinary Brother.
All right, all right. Bobbity bop bop bop. We are back. Welcome to your favorite show, man. I go by the name of King Exodus. As always, we appreciate your time. Thank you for tapping in. Make sure you share the live, share the video. We're a little behind schedule, but the show must go on. The show must continue. So we'll hit y'all with a couple of current events, a couple of announcements. Juice, I'll let you do your thing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. There's a couple couple of different things I want to bring up today that I thought was interesting. I was watching this little news thing. It was over Leonardo DiCaprio, right? And a woman kept bringing up the age gap dating he does, right? Leonardo is pretty much reaching his 50s or in his 50s now, and he's dating a young woman at the age of 19, right? And I was like, okay, we always know Leonardo to date young women, nobody over the age of 25. It's been known, it's been documented, it's been history for quite some time. But I was like, hold on. It's amazing, like, nobody cares that Leonardo is dating younger women as he gets older. Yet, there was a situation with Marcus Houston, and he married somebody that was 19. It's like, okay, I see the different angles that get pointed out from the black community versus any other community, right? So she was pointing out, like, listen, who wants to sit there and date young people all the time? All you're going to do is date them, and then when you get tired of them, you just move on to something else. He's not going to ever be a real man. He's not going to want to experience love. He doesn't want a family. Like, what woman in their right mind would want to be with this man and knowing that all they got to do is become a certain age before he gets tired of them? And amazingly, as I'm looking at the newscast, the men was just like, they're making like side glimpses to each other, kind of like laughing, like, yo, what that man does in his life should affect who he is as a person. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing that like the dating situation and the people we date, how it affects other people and has nothing to do with them. So as we know, Leonardo has always been a topic for when it comes to dating and the big age gaps he has always dated in. So X, I want to ask you on that. I brought up a reference. I was like, why is it like not really talked about amongst other cultures, the age gap dating versus the situation within the black community? Like I brought up the situation we discovered with Marcus Houston and his wife being 19.
I would just say the first thing come to mind is pretty much access the information by way of media, daily conversation. Like a lot of people in the black community or people within their own communities kind of only talk about certain things that affect that community. You know what I mean? In the black community, if it's not really common conversation, 9 times out of 10, the awareness isn't there. And when the awareness is met, right, it's not the same shock value. You know what I mean? It's just not. I would just simply say, like I don't know how different groups judge these types of things based on their race, group, or whatever, or class. I would just simply say I think it starts there with, first off, are the people black? Does it affect black people? Those types of things. And it could be sometime a little, a finesse two-time situation, where it's just not a problem, you know what I'm saying, based on who does it.
Yeah.
That can be part of it as well.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, shouldn't really look outside of home or outside of your own group to morally judge, like, a standard of what's to do and what's not to do, especially not those people, because they can't be the moral standard of anything. But I just simply look at it like that,
Okay.
Black people kind of deal with things that's talked about in the barbershops and things that's talked about, you know what I'm saying, when people get from the news and media. So, yeah, when other males from other groups do these types of things, it's not on TV. It's not in the group chats. It's just, I don't think a lot of people know as much as they do when a black person does it. So.
Okay. I'm gonna bring up this post I seen, and then I'm gonna bring up the last current event. There's a post I read. It said every woman should at least have one man that is brutally honest with them. So I'm reading the comments before I made the comment, right? And it was funny because people are like, yeah, those people get called assholes. And there were people were all talking about who should be the man who's brutally honest with their daughter or, you know, with a woman. I put in the comments, your father should be the most honest person with you in your life. So with me bringing that up to the table, who do you feel should be the most honest with a woman? Like I said, the post was just like every woman needs to have one male figure that's brutally honest with them. So I put your father should be the one who's brutally honest with you. Yeah, we don't always see that. So I'm just kind of curious, man. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree. I was having this conversation earlier, ironically, this first time you spoke about it, but I was talking to one of my friends. He's within his 40s, and we were just saying, like, you know, the reason why the dating world is complicated for a lot of people, or a lot of bad decisions are made in life, is because fathers aren't honest with their daughters. We were talking about it from that type of perspective. So let's say some women feel like let's say they never met their father, or their father's deceased. You still should have a man within a father figure role that can step in and be brutally honest with you. Not honest enough to, with evil intent to tear you down, but with the intent to build you up. And sometimes the only way to get like built correctly and properly on a sturdy foundation is a lot of false narratives have to be destroyed, which is going to create discomfort, right? So a lot of people didn't agree with Kevin Samuels on everything. A lot of people didn't like his approach. But however, when you build a society where, let's just say, women aren't told the truth enough, you make way for people to step into these roles of, then you become a villain. You know what I mean? So it's like you give birth to the villains by screwing up society so much. So needless to say, I don't even think Kevin Samuels would have had the impact he had we had more fathers within society. Because a lot of the things he was saying wouldn't have been a shock value if you've already heard your grandpa, your daddy, your uncles had these same types of talks with you. Not saying the info would be exactly the same, but the energy should have been a familiar thing. Now let's switch it. If that was an old woman, a black woman that talked shit to everybody, no one would have been uncomfortable. It would have been so usual, so normal, because you're used to Big Mama, Grandma, your Medias, and your aunties getting on everybody's ass so much that you hear that kind of energy coming from somebody, you can already be like, okay, I know what this is. You know what I'm saying? This reminds me of such and such. So I just feel like, you know, fathers should definitely be honest. If I treat my daughter like my little princess 24/7, 100% of the time, I'm failing as a father, because the world is not going to treat her like that. So I have to prepare her for the world, and she has to be able to survive in the real world. So you got it.
Oh man, I ain't gonna lie. It's about to be an episode right there. That's about to be a whole episode right there, baby. All right,
Right.
last current event. Godfather was right again. I told some people this as well. Jeff Bezos has got re-engaged. He's about to get married again. People were like, why would you get married again and you have all this money? Like, what's the point of it? Like, did his wife take like a couple of $1 billion from him? Like, I would never get married again. See, there's a thing that we don't understand amongst each other. Corporate people understand, political people understand, elites understand. There's power within marriage. Kevin Samuels used to talk about it all the time. You can see me talk about it as well. Like I said, I'm in different hierarchies, and they quick to tell me, "Hey, listen, no single people. Hey, you can't." They let me know straight up. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things that people always try to equate that, you know, when you have a lot of money, there's no need to get married. Cool, you don't have to get married. You know what I'm saying? You got some of the single bachelors. I'm probably Leonardo DiCaprio. He always been doing his own thing. But more so, there's always structure behind what goes on that other people can't see. And people are like, well, they're married, and okay, let's say a poor person married, a middle class person married, and a wealthy person's married, right?
Mm-hmm.
Within marriage, there's still hierarchy within that, within society, because just off of where you are already placed financially. So believe it or not, those are still gateways for better outcomes. No matter what nobody says, I don't care. You don't want to get married, cool. You want to get married, cool. I'm telling you what it is. Because like I said, if a man is that powerful, he doesn't have to get married. Yet he is still getting married. Kevin Samuels spoke about this before he passed away. He said, "Listen, Jeff Bezos will get remarried. You know why? Because he's corporate, and I know what he represents. Also, when it comes to the white family structure, they're gonna put that in place because he's also at the top. We're not the ones who's looking at we're at the top, so let's get married. They're looking at I'm at the top, so why should I get married? So I was like, okay, I understand what you're saying, Kevin. I got it.
Right. And when we talk about wealth, like you don't find men within like the top 5% of earners that are bachelors, like per se.
No,
Like that's not a
another
thing.
thing.
Everything then becomes about family, the image that shows the responsibility aspect. I think Elon Musk is probably like one of a kind.
One of the kind. One of a kind. But
So there's just something that
I ain't
out
gonna
there.
lie, but Elon, one of us. He got a couple of baby mamas, baby. You got, Elon got a couple of baby mamas.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's good, man.
Elon, one of us, though. Let me stop. Let
Right.
me stop.
Right. So, people want to be like, well, look at Elon or look at this person. I mean, it happens, but on a larger scale, everything becomes about family, bloodline, generational wealth. Uh, it just serves a greater purpose. It's not always about the money. And the 35 billion that his ex-wife walked away with, she earned it. That wasn't like a L to him. Like she actually put in the work and put in the time. Was a great addition to the company. So I mean, that's not like a loss. That's just like good business. Thank you for your service. Job well
And
done. You know
you
what I
get
mean?
back to the bed and listen, take your
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ass.
We good. We good. One thing I'll tap into is this whole debt ceiling issue
Okay.
that the U.S. is undergoing. It's interesting, right? You have different political parties that say that we're for the people, what's best for the people. A lot of people feel as though Democrats are for the people and Republicans are devils. While at the same time, you have Democrats saying, look, let's not stop the spending. Let's keep spending money. Let's just raise the debt ceiling. On the other hand, you have Republicans saying, look, let's raise the debt ceiling, but let's cut down on spending. So it's just very interesting how the Democrats really aren't handling this situation properly. We just got to say it. And then we have a Democratic president in the office, and what is he doing with the money that we could be using to pay back some of our debt? He's sending it to other nations, right? So we're in liquid. The U.S. probably got about 58 to 60 billion in liquid, right? But we're trillions in debt, and we're still sending billions to other nations for personal agendas and all these different types of things. And I can learn today that the spending that America would normally spend on military defense, they're not even doing that anymore because of this whole debt situation. So now you have a country that's growing in debt. Two parties can't come to any type of agreement that's for the people. And then the biggest thing that we have, the number one military, well, we're not going to be spending this much money on that. So just word to the wise, this can damage every market possible. Housing market can have like a little ripple effect to the stock market. The stock market and the economy aren't the same thing. They're not even like siblings. They're like first cousins, but they do have a relationship nonetheless. So this will, just with the housing market alone, you're looking at like for new home buyers, you're looking at like thousands of dollars more on their mortgages. Like everything will increase. The people are going to suffer for the bad decisions that's made, not by us. You know what I'm saying? If you don't pay your loan in time or you don't pay anything on your loan, your credit goes to shit and you can't get access to nothing
Nah.
unless you know somebody that can do one of them swipe things
Hey,
for you. You know
listen.
what I'm
Hey,
talking about?
listen.
Let y'all know some of them. I'm not saying I've done this before, but y'all know how it goes. But America don't even have to do that. They just keep borrowing more, borrowing more, borrowing more. So just want to throw that out there. Just be careful about how you spend your money, and maybe you're so reckless with money because you're in a nation that's reckless with their money, and maybe you're learning from the best, right? And just go in debt and don't have any intentions of paying the debt back, and let's just continue to rock out like that. So We have to pay attention to these types of things and pay attention to what political party is making the best actions for you. Take your emotions out of it, take your feelings out of it, and just look at the information and who's doing what. Right now, I don't know. Y'all might want to switch up some of y'all votes. I'm just saying. You got it.
All right, all right, all right. So listen, let's go ahead and move into the subject of the night,
All
man.
right.
Go ahead and pop it off, man. This was something you want
All
to
right.
cover.
Greatness Dethroned. Man, we got LeBron James, man. Great basketball player. I won't take anything away from him. He's great within his own capacities. Is he the GOAT to me? No, but he's a very great player, nonetheless. He's done things that other players haven't. He's had accomplishments in his personal life that other players have not tapped into. And so when he took this L, he got swept by Denver Nuggets. And when he took this L, you had people like rooting for his failure. Like, I told you he wasn't that. I told you he ain't the GOAT. He ain't shit. Blah, 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 blah. It's like people was excited to see him lose. And it's kind of like reminds you of like the whole Tom Brady era where people was just like, oh, anybody but him. You know, so we started calling him cheater, a liar, and all these different types of things. So a lot of times we see in life that the more great and iconic people become, if they do it within like the same time that we live in, we hate them. We just have to see them fail. We want to see them bleed. But when they're deceased, we honor the hell out of them. You know what I'm saying? Well, not everybody, right? But for the most part, we live in like a necromancy society to where we celebrate the dead, but we don't celebrate the living. And we don't praise their accomplishments in real time because it's happening right before us. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to have these types of conversations to see why is it that we don't want to see people become great and we don't want to praise people while they're still here. So we're going to have a conversation. Greatness Dethroned. I'll let you rock out.
Man, let me tell you, that's definitely a true story, right? Uh, you have, like you said, LeBron, you have Tom Brady, you have Floyd Mayweather. Like, man, listen, man, he gotta lose, man. He just gotta lose, man. Like, anytime somebody has been dominating, people want them to lose after a while. Like, listen, I'm tired of this, right? What's it called? Drake, one of Drake's last albums he had dropped. They're like, what is this? This is a little pop. Okay, Drake finally missed, y'all. He finally missed. The world was going crazy. Like, I can't get jiggy with this shit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, as much as people was like he finally missed, he was still charting. He ended up actually having more numbers than usual. I was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? But it was just that small indication of when he decided to do like the little pop album or whatever they want to call that. People's like, yeah, he finally missed. And it's crazy, like they say, anytime somebody has been doing something for so long, eventually people want to see if they lose. Because then it's like, okay, if he don't lose, then it's got to be rigged. Or if he don't lose, you know what I'm saying? How is he doing it? Who is he talking to? How is he doing it so much? Person can tell you, listen, I wake up every day at 5 o'clock. I have a glass of water. I go run for about 10 miles. About 7 o'clock, I go take a shower. By the time I got the shower, I have my first meal. It tell you the routines over and on. Dwayne Johnson tells you the same things he does every day, right? Everything's catered to him so much that when Black Adam actually hit the market, it was like, okay, he actually didn't do good in the film for once, even though the movie was catered to his personality. So, like I said, anything you do for a long period of time, people are still going to want to see you fall. I know people who sports bet and will bet on the opposite team, the underdog, just because they're like, listen, they got to win. You know, it's more money. It's more money if they win. So if the dude, you know, the primary people win, I'm not really winning no money at the same time. So that's all I got with this.
Okay. I go a couple of different places with this one. My hands all over this one. All right. So first person I'll bring up is Elon Musk. We just talked about him.
Okay.
Elon is one of the greatest businessmen we've ever seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, he has shortcomings. Tesla began to suffer, or at least the stock began to suffer. And a lot of people felt like, well, this is suffering because he got too much going on. You got SpaceX, you got Tesla, you got Twitter, you know what I'm saying? You got the Neuralink, you got all these different things going on that he's running, and it's like he's forgetting about the main company, the thing that he should be focused on the most. So, word to the wise, even great people have to narrow down their vision and their attention and what they put their attention into, right? A lot of poor people or people within the middle class or people that want to be great, we think the more we do, the better. And sometimes that's not true. Warren Buffett, 525 rule. You got 25 things you want to do. Let's focus on the top 5. Let's throw away the rest of them. Let's make the top 5 happen, right? It's not saying that you probably won't be able to do other things, but we really have to narrow our time down so that we can be great. You're an early investor. It's not great to bust out the gate and have 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 things you're invested into. Oh, I want to do real estate. I want to do this. I want to invest here. I want to put money here. I want to own this. I want to get this skill. I want to do this. I want to do that. Well, you know it. You're not going to accomplish nothing, right? You may accomplish something, but you could be 10 times greater if you just focus on 2 or 3 things. Let those things pop, and then let's take what we learned from those 2 or 3 things, and now let's go on the road and do more. So even Elon, what did he do? He found a new CEO for Twitter. So that's less things. Now he can focus on Tesla, probably save Tesla, fix these problems. So you just want to be mindful. You just don't, being hyperactive, even in the successful space, still can be a negative because you just really want to focus on certain things that works for you, and then we can grow and expand. And there's nothing wrong with putting other people in positions at the same time that still have our best interests, right? So him finding another CEO to run a company, I'm pretty sure he found someone that shares a similar vision, shares his similar interests. And sometimes you just got to fall back and let people do their job. You know, it serves us no purpose if we want to have our hand in everything. Even if we running one company, it serves us no purpose to have people in high ranks and high positions if we don't let them serve and do what they're here to do. If we just want to control everything, control freaks, put our hand in everything, you have CEOs like that. They can have one company, but they still do too much within the company. So
Micromanage.
that's my intro.
Oh, micromanage. Oh. I was like micromanage. Oh. But no, like what he's saying is definitely true. One of my favorite people I know is Matthew McConaughey, one of my favorite actors. And in his book Green Lights, he was talking about how you open up a production company, a music company. He was getting into films, making his own films. I mean, part of the production of his family. And he was like, listen, I felt like I was making B's all across the board. So I decided to shut down the music company and another company. He said, that way I can focus on making A's. Right? And I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about Elon Musk when he first bought Twitter. People was all like, oh man, he's playing with Twitter. He's asking, should he allow Tate to come on Twitter again? Should he allow Trump to come back on Twitter? You know, he did his little thing like you know, trolling. You know, he did a little trolling for a little bit when he first bought Twitter. And people were like, he's dictating this, dictating that. But then he was able to get back focused. Like he said, put somebody else in position to play. That's one of the biggest things that we will have to be able to do in order to become great. Everybody that wants to be a business owner, a business or a boss, some of us are so used to be an employee, it's hard to cross over and let somebody else do it. That's one of the biggest things, right? Because if you're not doing it, then how you know if they're going to do it at a sufficient or effective level as you do? That's the whole purpose of putting people in position, finding qualified individuals. That way it takes the load off you and you can focus on amplifying, you know, moving forward. But like I said, it takes that switch and understanding that you got to ease off in some areas in order to focus better in other areas. We talked about sometimes when it comes to men and running a company, being a family man, or being a part of the community, right? If your family's suffering, but all you know is business, you'll look at it like, well, look, family will understand in the end. And then sometimes, look, family will never understand. It don't matter how much you put into place. Like, hey, I help these people. I help 100,000 people out in the world get electricity. These people have water over here. That's 50,000 people. Yeah, but you was never there. So it don't matter how great you are to everybody else, you suck as a father. That's one of the most, you know, that's one of the most craziest things. Like some of the people be like, listen, he's great to you, but we're his kids. He's not great to us. So to the world, you got the crown. To people who know you, shoot, you only know yourself. You don't know it's bad when you don't even remember your kids' birthdays or your anniversary.
Hmm? Right. Yeah, you start calling your kids, hey, kid. You forget names and shit. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Number two, number three. Hey, little girl, little man. Hey, so first thing I noticed when you said that is, I think a lot of that happens, other than like unfortunate situations where it just happens no matter what. A lot of people focus on becoming great to the world before they become great within that personal world. You know what I mean? So you're working backwards. If you would have did it the correct way and became valuable within your personal space and your personal world and built those relationships before you went outside and built other relationships, these people would already feel you, know you, understand what you're doing because you already made your impact here. Now we can give it to the world. Feel me? So a lot of people don't do that. They focus on the world first, and then they feel like just because I'm doing this for the world, you should be admired just because of who I am to you. And it's like, nah, fam, if I see you going out giving your heart and your soul to everybody else, when you come home, I expect to see some of that person. Like, don't just come home and go to sleep. Feel me? So I think that's why a lot of people get that mixed up. If I'm going to go 110 outside the house, I can at least get a house 40, 50% of me. At least 30 at best, make that 30 count something. People see when you really try, when you're going above and beyond, and they see when you're really just not that interested or concerned. So just wanted to put that out there. A person I can talk about now, Kanye West. Greatness dethroned. This man has done it all. I'll be real with you. He done it all. No, I don't agree with every single thing he say, every single thing he do. I think we feel like when people become great and iconic, we forget that they still human. They still have shortcomings, traumas, personal things they need to heal and grow from, right? But since they're so successful, we want them to be perfect, and that's not possible, right? People will go to the extreme length to say, well, he got mental issues. That's why he's like this. And I'm like, fam, have you been evaluated? Like, have you healed and got over everything that you've been through? Have you cleared up all your traumas? And you know what I'm saying? So let's just say he got a bigger mental illness than you. I'm pretty sure you have some type of things that you need to get fixed as well and checked out. But he still made $1 billion with his shortcomings. What's your excuse? You feel me? We look for people to, we try to bring people down to a human level because they're so high, and we expect them to be something that they're not. We talk about Michael Jordan. Yeah, he the GOAT, he the greatest, but he had a gambling problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just have to bring up something that's wrong with people. If you have a friend or a person that you see that's in shape, you want to try to find something on their body. Well, his legs are a little small. His right shoulder ain't as big as his left shoulder. And his arms could be a little bigger. You know what I'm saying? Or he must be on steroids. That's what that is.
He's on the
Yeah,
juice, man. He's
yeah.
on the juice.
You got to make little jokes and shit to make yourself feel comfortable because you really want to say, I want to be like him. But it's uncomfortable for you to admit it. So you got to make a joke to make that person seem like, you know what I'm saying? You got to bring them down in some type of way. You see it, fellas, you see a female, you probably feel like she out of your league. Some men got to make a joke about that or do something to say something to try to bring her down a little bit. She on her high horse, so to speak. You feel me? So we just have to be careful about just not letting people be great. And I think we're afraid to just be like, look, I feel like the more time you spend judging somebody that has something that you want, whether it's a look, image, income, influence, whatever, spend more time learning from them, whether you do it within proximity or from a distance by studying them. Spend more time doing that versus judging their downfalls and their errors, right? Because some people can say, like, you're great, you're iconic, but since I know your secrets or I know your shortcomings, that takes away from me learning from your greatness. So sometimes we just need to be comfortable admiring other people's greatness, admiring their beauty. Sometimes we need to spend more time complimenting people versus judging people to find something wrong with them. So I just want to throw that up. If Kanye is crazy and he got mental illness, if you find more faults in people than you find praises in people, you may have a mental illness as well, a personality disorder. So I just want to throw that in the mix, man.
Oh man, I'm pretty sure y'all heard about. Shoot, let me bring out Martin Luther King. For all the
He
things Martin Luther King
cheated.
got, he cheated.
He cheated.
You're not a good man. You're not a great man. You didn't do nothing. I was like, whoa. So we just suspended that man's whole legacy because he cheated. Yeah, he's not a good man. I was like,
right. But Ray ain't took care of his kids ever. Feel me? We're gonna put him on the same level with Ray.
He assembled a group or made an organization, got laws changed, got put things in position to play, but because he cheated,
no good.
It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. He cheated. I'm like, yo, you can't. How do y'all this so much stuff somebody does because of one thing, right? I'll try to remember the actor, man. Oh, you got the situation with Will Smith. Everybody knows about Will Smith's situation. After that, they start bringing up everything. Well, you know that's happened because you know Jada still love with Tupac. Well, you know that happened because you know he don't want to leave. And listen, they start just throwing dirt and smut and smut. Well, you know he had to be a thug that day. You know he didn't want to go out being a pussy. Like I'm like, yo, man, like one thing my cousin said. I remember I made a post. I said all it takes is one move for them to try to erase you from Hollywood. And my cousin that put, I think he said, I always remember it takes one move before somebody tries to eliminate your legacy. So I was like, damn, okay. They tried to base everything on that one incident because, you know, he got banned from the Academy. He had dropped a couple movie productions, and now he bounced back. And, you know what I'm saying? He's still trying to get back in that window, but it's like people are still just like, no, I don't know, man. He's not the Will I know. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember how Will Smith's image was. It was always clean. You know what I'm saying? Smooth. From Fresh Prince of Bel-Air into some of his acting roles. You know him as a playboy or doing. He's always known to do phenomenal roles.
Mm-hmm.
Even, like I said, on camera, off the camera, you always seen his character development. The one time he cracks is, I told you he wasn't great. I knew it. I knew it. It's like, yo, you can't downplay everything that man has done for one incident. You had some of the best artists that were, for instance, you had artists that were doing drugs. He's like, man, you see he going down, man, he ain't doing drugs no more, man. His music ain't good no more. I'm like, whoa. How's a person trying to get right to make better music? All of a sudden he don't sound as good as he did. It's
need you on the pills,
man. He's on them pills, man. Give us some lean, man. Give us some weed. Like they try to sober up. Like, no, I need somebody gotta die, man. It's like put that back in the lyrics. Like I don't understand like how crazy it is to be seen as a god just to realize you're still human.
Right.
That's one of the major things, man.
Right. This whole LeBron thing, man. It's just really weird that, you know, let's just say he collapses in certain situations, right? Well, people outside looking in feel like he should rise to the occasion and conquer. And it's just like, all right, bet, like, how many things have you conquered in your personal life? Like, you know what I'm saying? This man got to go out, perform with the best of the best, year after year after year after year, game after game after game, practice, make sure his image is clean, still be a family man. Like, we haven't seen this done at this capacity, right? When Jordan was doing it, he didn't have that full family structure, you know what I'm saying? Kobe had his family, that was a different story, but, you know what I'm saying, just focusing on LeBron, like, yo, like, even Tom Brady was in a situation to where he lost his family being so dedicated to the sport. Feel me? Somehow this man figured a way to do it all. And when he have a shortcoming, he's just like, I told you. You know what I mean? So it's just really weird. And I'm like, okay, cool. If he can go out there with all that pressure, perform at the highest level whether he come up short or not. If you're gonna judge him falling shy, what are you doing in your personal life? Do you your personal ambitions and aspirations? Have you done at least one thing on your bucket list? You feel me? Like, we so worried about taking trips and saying I've been here and I've been overseas, but you still ain't accomplished nothing in your personal life. Everything that you truly want to accomplish, entrepreneurship, having a certain amount of money invested in something, doing the things that actually matter, that bucket list is empty, right? But you have designer in your closet, you driving a status symbol type of vehicle, right? You look up the par, but you haven't accomplished anything that you truly desire. This man has accomplished, you know what I'm saying, probably majority of the things he truly desires, but you're judging him. You're sitting at home on a TV judging his failures while you're watching him on TV. Like, I don't think people paying attention to that. So, look, I like it when people study the mentality of successful people and use it as motivation and fuel. So when they getting ready to give a speech, when they getting ready to go to class, pass this exam they've been studying for, when they're thinking of a new way to make money and they say, bet, this is the vision, I'm going to go through with this 100%. I know what course I need. I know what certifications I need. I know who I need to talk to. I know what I need to do. When you envision LeBron on the court and you use that as motivation, fine. Judge him all you want. But if you're not doing that with somebody in your life, whether it's LeBron, motivational speaker, whoever, I don't think you're in a position to judge what other people are doing because they're on the stage. They're on some type of stage. When a teacher get up and go to work, get ready to teach 30 kids at a time, they stepping up. They're on the stage. But you'll just look at how many kids they teach and probably don't become successful. Or you'll just look at, oh, well, they teach a school, they in the hood. They're not at a university. Like, we'll find some kind of way to cut somebody else down, but they stepping up on a daily basis. They living throughout pressure. So that's what I want to throw into the mix. Don't judge what other people are doing under pressure if you're not putting pressure on yourself to perform at any level at all. So you got it.
Man, two people from USC popped in my mind. You have Ronda Rousey, Ronda, forget her last name. Ronda, and you had Conor McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
The times they lost, world ate that up. Ate that up.
I would have did this. I would have blocked him. Now you're a full-time fighter, huh?
You know how to fight now, huh? This, man, listen, I remember when Ronda lost that fight, her life was never the same after that. The world ate her up. She was dominated, the women's side. Dominated. Mm-hmm. She lost that fight, and she never recovered mentally after that. After that second fight she lost, she gave up on the game. You know what I'm saying? But I know after the first fight, she went and started one of them, one of these movies. I think it was one of the Fast and Furious movies. Yeah, I think one of the Fast and Furious. I wasn't mistaken. She was like a bodyguard, something like that. I forgot. But even I remember watching her journey of becoming the fighter she was. She was like, I remember her talking about, like, I think people still forget, like, I'm still a woman. You know what I'm saying? I still have emotions. I still have things like that. It's things that I still have to, barriers I got to get through. And like I said, when she lost that fight, she never recovered mentally. So that when that second fight happened, like, she was just done with the game. We know Conor to lose fights, come back, promote the next fight. Well, one thing he will always do is try to persevere from last time. Whatever you like, he's iconic. Win or lose, people still love this guy. It's like, I don't even know if you could say if he can basically be dethroned with the impact he has made, especially within his own Ireland. Is it Ireland? Yeah, Ireland.
Yeah.
Iconic. No matter you win, lose, they love the culture, his energy, what he brings out. Everybody used to walk around doing a little, you know what I'm saying? He made his impact. But like I said, we had him fight Mayweather. They were like, yeah, man, I told you he couldn't box. I'm like, yo, he's a boxer. What are you talking about? He did everything strategically. He timed them, and he knew when to go in for the kill. And people were like, well, you know what I'm saying? If that was me, like I said, it's just one of those things, like, no matter how great you are, people always want to bring you down. I remember you had the situation with Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire. You know what I'm saying? They hitting the most fantastic. They go a home run. Sammy Sosa, they going back to back home runs and stuff. They'd be like, oh man, they taking steroids, man. Oh man, they got juiced up. I was like, yeah, I don't think y'all understand. Like, let's hypothetically say it's true, bro. You still have to work out. You still have to produce results of anything any type of drug enhancements you're taking.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that's good or whatever.
But yeah, we're not promoting.
Yeah, that is that. Let me just throw that out there. We're not.
Say no.
But yeah, go
ahead. Just kind of tapping in on that part. Jay Cutler said some powerful shit. He's like, do bodybuilders take steroids? Of course. But he said, look, don't overlook the work. Still go to the gym 3-4 times a day. The diet, the training, nutrition, dehydration process before stepping on stage. Like, you still can't overlook the work that they put in. You know what I mean? So once again, a lot of people just try to find a way to dethrone you instead of looking at what you're actually doing in totality. So who cares if somebody takes a little stimulus, right? That's not all. Like, if you go take steroids as well, I'm not saying do that, but if you go do that versus Jay Cutler doing it, I'm pretty sure you still will never become Jay Cutler. Feel me? So it's a whole, you just can't throw away somebody's work ethic because you see them take a cheat code or a shortcut somewhere. And that let me know who you are as a person if you focus more on the cheat code than the work ethic that they put in. Yeah. Right? That's probably why you're in the same position you in, because you don't understand work ethic. You only see cheat codes and shortcuts. So you get to seeing the world in that capacity. What's the quickest way I can do this? What's the easiest way I can do that? Now I know who you are as a person, because you never think, how can I actually work for it? Everything got to be quick, fast, in a hurry. You got to be affixed to it. So just want to throw that in the mix. Tom Brady, my favorite football player.
Man, I got a sauna suit, man. It help me lose some more calories, man. I just got a sauna suit, man.
Nothing wrong, man.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
You still got to work in the suit.
Still got to work.
You put the suit on and you sit on the couch. I don't think the suit gonna do much for you. You know what I mean? Still got to work. So, Tom Brady, one thing I noticed, man, people spoke on that man's name like he owed them money. Yeah. Like, I had some coworkers like, damn, bro, did he fuck you bitch or something? Like did he do something to you? Like, for a personal level? What did he do? I thought he just threw the football, man. Like, sometimes people will just be, I'm just tired of seeing him win. I'm like, damn, that let me know who you are as a person. I got to watch you. Feel me? Even though I'm not at that highest level, just the fact that you hate seeing people win repeatedly, that just let me know who you are. Like, what's wrong with seeing somebody win all the time if they outwork everybody? So then you start looking at, like, well, the referee's cheating, you know what I'm saying? And Tom Brady did some shit. He did some shit people in the streets don't even do. He took the blame for something he didn't do just for the group. That deflated balls, he didn't deflate the balls. But he said, look, I'll take that heat. Suspend me a couple of games, I'm back in the mix. Look, the organization is responsible for it, not him. But you don't get no honor for that. You know what I'm saying? We say, oh, he did it, he's a cheater. He not the coach. He don't have that kind of pull and power. So, and then looking at his career, he took so many pay cuts just for them to build the team. We won't look at that either.
Nope.
So you wouldn't even tell, like, if you ran a business today, you probably wouldn't even give somebody a free meal or free nothing. Wouldn't give them a discount or nothing. You upcharge everything you could possibly, right? I got to feed my family. I got to do what's best for me. But you're going to judge somebody else making millions of dollars and what they doing with their money. Get the fuck out of here, man. Like, I don't do that. I can't judge somebody and say, oh, they greedy with their millions, and I don't even fucking get a charity. I don't give donations. I don't do shit, but I'm going to sit up and judge what somebody else do with their money. They got more money than me. So what you're saying is, if you had that amount of money, you probably wouldn't do the same thing because you're not practicing these habits now. You're not giving away anything. You're not participating in food drives. You're not feeding homeless. You're not giving somebody clothes. You know what I'm saying? People have it within their paychecks to where you can set up to where in your paychecks, it could be like an allotment that goes towards charitable organization. It can come straight out every paycheck.
What you
You
say it
know,
was again? What
it's
they called?
similar to like an allotment, to where you can
Okay.
have money go to an organization. Like, you don't do none of that. Stop judging what the wealthy are doing with their money if you're not giving back to society. It don't take a lot to give back. It just takes something to give back something. You're not like preaching at church like to the youth. You're not speaking to anybody. You're not doing anything, but you're gonna judge how somebody else not giving back. So I just have to throw that in the mix. Like Tom Brady, my goat, man.
Yeah.
So y'all, he's Tom Brady, man. Tom Brady, my goat, man. Yeah. So you talking that Tom Brady shit?
I'm the
I might,
laugh the way
I
you
might,
said it. You
I
was
might swing on you, man. You know what I
Tom
mean?
Brady rock up.
Yeah. Tom Brady for life.
Oh my goodness, man! Like that was hilarious right there, man. You know what?
Uh-huh.
You know what? A person like we can bring up that we
Mhm.
can see every day. Honestly, you can always see the dethronedness of Barack Obama.
Mhm.
Mm. No matter what
Mhm.
Barack done, people still want to talk about like, well, he didn't do nothing for black people. Yeah, he can talk, but he didn't really do anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? He did this, he did that. He dropped bombs on people. Like, yo, whoa. Hey, listen. As much as times, even times of my times looking at Obama a certain way, like, oh, he didn't do too much. At the same time, I had to go back and relook at the things that took him to get there, and I was just like, all right. I haven't heard no scandals on Barack's side. I haven't
Mhm.
heard too much about his. You know what I'm saying? You gotta remember they tried to go after this man for everything. You know what the biggest thing they ever came up with was the fact that they caught one of his kids smoking weed one time. That was it.
Mhm.
Hey, he's a terrible parent. There it is, smoking weed. You see his daughters.
Mhm.
I knew that nigga. I knew that nigga was good. Like, but the whole time in play and emotion is not a scratch of infidelity, misconduct. He always kept it cool. He had charisma. You throw jabs at him, he gets you right back real smooth. Like they
Mhm.
said, he's known to like you try to win the crowd over on him, the crowd gonna look back at you and laugh because he's gonna do it. He's very like I said, charismatic.
Mhm.
He has the morality. He has the character. He has it all.
Mhm.
Like we talked about at times where there was people who didn't like him, but every time he talked, like, man, I hate how much I like how he talks. My brother was old enough to connect with the older generation, but smooth enough to get the young generation more involved in politics
Mhm.
with his speeches, with his wife. That's another thing. The more he brought his wife into play, people start looking at their own spouses like, you know what, maybe I need me a Michelle my damn self.
Mhm.
So, where some people were looking at the situation like, all right, the man does everything. People also start looking at the situation like, look, his wife is right there wanting to aid with him. Maybe it's actually good that she got involved a little bit into it. That way he can split up and knock this out over here, and she can get involved over here, and that could bring them even more votes or even more people to come around Congress. I was like, you know what? I can't even get mad at that no more. To a point where, like I said, you have individuals that always bring this up now. Like, what type, if you got into a relationship, would you want the Barack Obama relationship type, where your woman side by side as you making moves, or would you like the standard presidential relationship where you're in the front and she just in the back? I see people do these comparisons now on all levels, just off the fact on how he executed as a man while he was in office at that time. Like I said, I just watched his documentary called was it Working All Day? Working, I forgot what it said. Just watch it. I thought it was a phenomenal documentary. He broke down the
Mhm.
classes, the economy. He was talking about his childhood, how powerful the dollar was then versus now, the pension plans, the way AI is going, how does a CEO live versus a regular worker. I watched a couple CEOs make the same wage as some of their employees, but in their mind, they were like, hey, listen, I got to keep this company running first before I paid myself. I was like, okay, this is the stuff we talking.
Man, I got a couple of last points and then I can wrap it up.
Okay.
One thing I noticed within the culture is the debate. Who's the greatest rapper? Who's the top 5 comedians? Mount Rushmore of this. Like, sometimes you just need to appreciate everybody's contributions, whether they made it to that top supreme level or not. And then when we try to figure out who's the top 5 rappers, top 5 singers, top 5 actors, it's like you, within the process of comparing people, you don't fully see what everybody made a contribution at. So even like within the rap culture, like if you did like songs, you'd probably be like, look, you know, it's just really weird to compare Tupac, Biggie to Jay-Z within the capacity that Jay-Z outlived him. You know what I'm saying? And you have people like LL, he gets slept on. Like, he came before all of them. You have people like Nas. Well, Nas didn't have the commercial hits. You got people like Eminem. Well, people say, look, he didn't have the commercial, the hits that gave him the respect, even though he had the commercial sales. Like, sometimes we just have to appreciate everybody's greatness at the same time. You have people like Ice Cube. He lived throughout multiple eras, did movie roles, scripting, got his own sports league, first black-owned sports league. You know, Ice Cube done it all. Why Ice Cube not top, the best rapper of all time? Feel me? So sometimes we just have to be careful about comparing everyone and just really just focus on the best people that perform at the highest level and just focus on what made them great as individuals. Sometimes even in sports, LeBron to go, Kobe to go, Jordan to go. Some people say Bill Russell is to go, 13 rings. Some people say Wilt Chamberlain. Look at what he averaged per game, right? Everybody's goal is different. You know what I'm saying? But these shouldn't be debatable topics unless it's like for fun and entertainment. Other than that, let's just appreciate everybody for the contributions that they made. Charles Barkley may not be somebody's GOAT, but he's in the top, 75, top 100. He didn't get the rings and the accolades that everybody else has, but he's still a GOAT. So sometimes people get lost on what's on paper. Some people feel like they GOAT is who's the most impactful, right? But like I said, that's your GOAT. Like, that doesn't have to be somebody else's GOAT. You may be drawn to somebody based on their work ethic or based on something about them that helps you personally as a person, right? So that person's impact with you, they're not going to share that same impact with another individual. But stop throwing away people because they're not top 5. Like, you're losing a lot of key inspiration and motivation because people aren't top 5 or the best. You don't always get ahead in life from studying the best at everything. Sometimes you just need to study people that did more than you have. So you got it.
Oh, well, you know, I really got too much to say, but I am a big person when it comes to exactly what you just said. Study the person, study the people who have what you have or had the opportunity to put themselves in a better position. I mean, that's the best way you learn is from people who are already done it. And like I said, that's why I'm saying having mentors is like having a navigation route. Like, hey, listen, I did this. You can do it. Take the same amount of time, or you can do it quicker. It's on you.
Okay.
So, not too much I got left on the subject. I think that's pretty much it from the point.
I'll wrap up my last 2. I'll wrap them up real good. Even in the boxing space, you have like people like Ali and Tyson in the comparative process where people compare Ali, Tyson, Floyd. What we have to realize is Ali probably fought in the toughest heavyweight time period of ever, right? Because he had at least 5 or 6 heavyweights, and all of them had to fight each other. Very competitive, right? But one thing I like about Ali and Tyson is they came back after losses. Tyson went to prison a couple of times, lost his trainer. Like, feel me? Like, Tyson was losing, kept fighting. You know what I'm saying? Everything. And then people that fought Tyson knew probably they was going to lose within a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. You was going to get beat up, but you was also going to get paid. So shouts out to the people that lost Tyson at the same time. Y'all show a lot of heart. I'm just saying. Greatness is on both sides of the field. Somebody will be like, oh, Mike Tyson is iconic. da, 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 somebody be like, yeah, but my cousin or my uncle fought Tyson. You know what I'm saying? They may feel like some type of greatness within that space to know their family member shared the ring space with somebody great. So I'm just comparing greatness at different angles and aspects. But I like those particular athletes because they fought throughout losses. Ali had his belt stripped from him, had his prime stripped from him. So him fighting and facing his losses and everything like that, it's like he didn't just win throughout his prime and everything was great. Floyd, I take nothing away from Floyd, but Floyd and LeBron had a time space to where everything switched to where the sport didn't dictate everything for you. You now have leverage. LeBron can pick his team now, pick his teammates, recruit his teammates. Other players in the past didn't have that type of free range of space. Floyd owned his own promotion company. Floyd picked his opponents. I'm not taking away from his greatness, but Ali and Tyson didn't have that. They couldn't pick who they wanted to fight and all that types of things. So when you compare people, it's deadly sometimes because different time spaces, different eras means everything's different, right? So everybody didn't have like the basketball corporation you have now to where they're doing things for the players more than what they've done in the past. Even Ron Artest made a comment about it. He was like, look, when he first came out, he didn't know anything about financial literacy. There was no association for the players. You just went into debt. And if you didn't know anything about financial literacy, you never came out of it. Now you have corporations for the players. So now they can invest. Now they can clean up their debt. Now the deals and the playing field is leveled out more so for the players than previous time periods. So I just want to throw that in the mix. It's deadly sometimes to compare time periods because it's a lot of factors that come into play. And when we do these big time comparisons like Michael Jackson or Prince, and people pick sides, and then I'm like, yo, why you just can't listen to them both? Like, you know what I'm saying? They're like, yeah, Michael Jackson had, probably more commercial hits and more impact than Prince, but let's not forget, Prince produced his whole first album. Like, he produced everything. He played every instrument. Like, he wore more hats than Michael Jackson. He wrote, he did everything else. So it's like, yeah, so who are we to compare who's better when you don't even know who actually did more work on their projects? You just know the more impact culturally.
Result.
Yeah. So I hate when people do that, man. Stop this whole comparison thing. So if you ain't got nothing else, we can wrap that one up.
Oh man, definitely. We go ahead and wrap that up. Because last thing I was gonna say is like, listen, notice Michael Jackson's run, his era. Every time something happened, they were like, you know what? I knew it. I knew it was Mike. You gotta get him out, man. His hair caught on fire. You know what I'm saying? I think you need to stop wearing that grease. Hey, you heard what he did? You heard what he did, right? Yeah. People discredit everything you do and everything you build up, no matter how large your impact is. So I would always say, listen, no matter what happens in your life and you're on the road to greatness, always stay level-headed and stay focused. Also, be careful on receiving the information that you're receiving, right? Sometimes, some things happen, is going on with you mentally while you're not performing as high. You might have somebody come in here like, hey, listen, it might be that time, man. Might be that time. Or you might have somebody like, listen, you're going to have to dig deep in you and retrain yourself on why you like this. Perfect example, Creed. Every time something happened, he had to do some deep evaluation in order to come out stronger and to move forward. That's what it takes to become great. Sometimes you have to get re-evaluated, right? For myself, everything that I have been accomplishing for this year, I keep saying, okay, listen, once this is accomplished, let me go talk to somebody. Let me get reevaluated. Maybe there's some mental blockage going on. One thing I learned, they say the mental will affect your performance. That's why some people stay in therapy, or every 6 months, every 3 months, they go get reevaluated to see like what's going on with them mentally. Is it the information they've been digesting? They got to move it slower. Is it the people around them? Are they staying up too late? They're doing stuff like that. There's performance that is key to your mental stability. The higher you go up, the more people reevaluate themselves. Why do you think they say like, listen, my friends change every 5 years? Some of my business partners are no longer my business partners. I have to get better business partners. Yeah, these are things that you have to be able to reevaluate for yourself and other people evaluate for you, right? That's why when people bring in auditors, they don't like bringing in people that already work for them. They bring in outside sources so they can give them the bottom truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got, man. That's all I got.
Nah. My last one,
Man,
John
that
Morant.
is the last one.
Yeah, my for real. John Morant.
Ah,
Like some some people dethrone their own greatness. You know, we brought up people throughout the conversation that, you know, we kind of like defended their greatness. Look, some people just throw their shit away. Some people say, look, take all my money. I don't want this shit. Take my fame. Take my accolades. I want to go to the hood. Take me back to square one, or a place I never been before. Everybody don't want to be great, man. Sometimes it's somebody that's on the outside looking in saying, look, man, give me half of that and I'll be perfect.
I'll be
I act right.
be good.
And then there's somebody with it that's like, I don't care about this shit. Fuck this money. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody like, man, if I just had a couple of $1,000s to invest, somebody go to the strip club and throw 5,000, you know, a couple of $1,000s. Like, for everybody that's saying, I wish I was in that position, there's somebody in that position that's fucking it off. So I just have to bring up the whole John Morant situation. And then some people will fuck off their own greatness and then blame everything else to why they fucked off their own greatness and potential. This happens every day. Like, once
Yeah,
you actually become the fuck up within your own greatness, you can't backtrack. And then, like, if you can backtrack and then give yourself a self analyzation period, and you can point back to what messed you up, you could have did the same thing and reverse engineered and fix your problems from square one instead of blaming these factors. So let's not point out the factors that led us to self-destruction after we self-destruct. Let's find out the factors that's causing us to self-destruct and let's fix it. It's not saying that people aren't going to make mistakes, but after we make the mistakes, do we just continue to go deeper into the hole, or do we find a way to get out of the hole? So, you know, a lot of times we can't just say, oh, yeah, he a black man, and, you know, and you know how it is for us. If we do the same thing they do, you know, we go to jail, we lose everything. But why are you doing the same thing they're doing? Like, just, let's start there. And sometimes let's stop it there. Let's just be better and be greater as individuals. And then we don't even have to make that comparison no more. So let's stop self-destructing. Let's stop throwing away our own greatness and potential. Let's work on our egos, our character flaws. Let's do what it takes to make sure that we don't throw away our own potential. So I'm done.
Well, I've been there, man. You know, you just talked to us.
All right. We appreciate y'all. Another episode Talking That Talk Official Podcast. Thank you for your time. Make sure you tap in. Make sure you comment. Make sure you share the video. Greatness Dethroned. Up top, we got No Ordinary Brother. I go by the name of King Exodus. Make sure you tap into our bios. We have our YouTube links in both of our bios. Subscribe, and we thank you for your time.
All right, y'all. Peace.